Hi there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading. This is Yetta Pearl, and this is your general angel reading for the week of June 6th through 12th of 2022. So just getting your cards out, and they're actually fairly quick this time. I've got half of them out now, so we'll just be patient for another minute or so, and then we'll have the rest of them out. Okay, there we go. They're starting. So here it is, June, like I said, 6th through 12th. It's amazing to me that the year is half over already, or pretty much, right, by the end of this month. So, okay, so they're just saying, angels are just saying, are you making the most of your year? Are you content with what you have accomplished so far? That is something for you to ask yourself and be very honest, because if you're not content, then what is it you need to change? And sometimes that'll take some soul searching and some courage to make some changes, but you can do it. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, here. So if you sit right now with yourself and you kind of say to yourself, what's my, biggest question kind of that I have that I can ask in a way that it's either positive or negative, right? But kind of along the lines of, is it best for me to do this, right? Or whatever your question is, just take a couple of seconds right now and ask yourself this certain question that's been on your mind. It's probably been at the top of your awareness for a little bit already. The answer is yes. A very positive answer. Yes. Now, depending how you worded your question, you might not feel like this is the positive answer, right? It just depends on how that came out. And nothing is nothing is accidental. Everything is on purpose. And so, however that comes out for you, your answer is yes. Okay. So that's part of what we just talked about, the willingness to notice what's working for you and what you are discontent with. Okay. Now, this part of this is like it's your instincts, it's your intuition, it's your answers from your guides, it's all the information available to you through collective consciousness, and so that allows you to forge your own path, to go the direction that you know is right for you. So this is no matter what anybody else says. This is no matter what what other things feel like. This is you knowing which direction to go. You knowing that even though your path may be different from other people's, that it's still right for you. So it's learning to trust your own intuition more. And, it's harder to do that, I think, when it's something really near and dear to you. When I sit here and I'm doing these readings, this information comes through usually very, very quick and easy, and it just flows, and I just open my mouth and the words come out. And sometimes that's why the words get jumbled, because it just comes through and I'm speaking and I'm not really paying attention to what I'm speaking some of the time, right? Because they're not my words. It's not something that I'm coming up with. In that same way, when I try to do readings for myself personally, I can do them for my own zodiac sign because that's for a group. But to do them just for my own self, it's much more difficult because I'm so close to the subject. I know what I want the answers to be, right? As opposed to what the answers might actually be. So this is you being able to discern your messages and take your own best path. And you're doing very well at that. And it's just kind of like a bit of support that when you're trying to do that, you're on the right path. Right. Okay. There's also support from your parents. Even though part of you is like, I don't know that they have much interest, is how kind of how this feels. I don't know if they care what's going on in my life these days. And you know, the older you get, the the longer away from like home and high school that you get, the more this feels true, probably. But rest assured that your parents are still very invested in how you feel, in what you're doing, whether you're experiencing success, whether you're having fun. You know, they might give you all kinds of other advice, but really they're very invested in this, and they really love seeing you thrive. Now, some of you, your parents have passed on, and I'll tell you, the same is still true. They're still your parents, no matter which transition they have made, no matter what plane they're on. Okay, so you can ask them for help of any kind, and if it's within their power, they will help you. Some of you are sitting there going, okay, well, I don't have that kind of relationship with my parents. No, maybe you don't. And, you know, as I've said multiple times before, that a reading like this being a group reading, there will be some parts of it that may not resonate with you, and that's totally fine. Just leave that as it is. Okay. All right. Now, let's see. We want to go here next. We're kind of, they're mixing up the order of the cards. This is actually the last card that came out. And this card says forgiveness. Let go of your judgments. So whether this forgiveness is towards yourself or whether it's towards somebody else, the mere fact that you think forgiveness is required means that you have been sitting in judgment of whatever happened or whatever behavior was exhibited. And the less that you can sit in judgment, the better you will feel. So the more accepting you can be, the easier your own life becomes. When it's yourself, and maybe you're judging yourself and you're really beating up on yourself that, oh man, I was so stupid, and how could I have done that, and that was wrong, and you really messed things up and all that stuff. Okay, what are you going to do about it now? Right? If you can, you make amends for what your behavior caused. Perhaps you want to just sit there and say, okay, well, this is what I did do. What do I think I could have done instead? Like, how could I have changed that? And think it through. And really feel through it, you know, so that next time something similar to that comes up, you can take a step back and go, okay, last time I did this or said that or whatever, that didn't work out so well. So now I'm going to try this new thing that I thought through, that I came up with. and so I'm going to do that this time because I think that's better. And so now you can really forgive yourself for what you didn't know before, for behavior that you didn't like of your own. Because going forward, you're not going to do that again. Right? You can also check in with yourself and see what triggered you. Like, what part of that made you snap back? What part of you caused that behavior in you? Right? That's a trigger of yours. And so when you deal with that trigger, now you know that going forward, that's not going to be triggered again because you've dealt with it. Right? And kind of the same thing when it's somebody else that you think you have to forgive. You're sitting in judgment of them. You don't know what their life's been like. You don't know what their triggers are. You don't know why they exhibited that behavior. You know that it triggered you, and you can deal with that. You know that it made you respond in a way you probably didn't like, and you can deal with that. In terms of them and their behavior, you don't have control over that. So all you can do is accept. Doesn't mean you have to put yourself in that target zone again, but accept that this is where they happen to be at right now. Love them anyway. Okay, work on that, because that's really important. It feels like that's a key part of what you're doing these days and of how you're progressing or not. Right? Okay. All right. Now, grace. Appreciate the beauty inside and all around you. So all that forgiveness allows you to have grace, to have the appreciation of everything. That acceptance of somebody who hurt you allows you to appreciate them for who they are, in spite of or beside the undesirable behavior that hurt you, right? Letting yourself experience all these things and acknowledge all the nuances and go slow in reactions. Make them responses instead, right? Doing all those things make you graceful. And then you're even more beautiful. And all of this leads to change. They talked at even before the whole reading, they talked about changes and what do you want to see in your life? What do you want there to be? And you have to be willing to experience change. And I know for a lot of you, this is a hard thing. You like things calm and settled and the same. But change is always positive. No, I shouldn't say that. It's not always positive. This change is a positive thing for you. It will lead you to bigger and better things. Okay. But you have to let it all happen, right? You have to kind of prepare yourself and let yourself be open to it. Okay, so here we have the daily guidance cards. And we're looking for one last piece of wisdom. Entrepreneur. Oh, maybe that's part of what the change is about. Going into business for yourself. It could be a side gig. It could be something that you hope to build and make it your main gig. Whatever it is, you have the skills to do this. It's it feels like there's some learning for you to do. Maybe there's some courses and stuff to take in specifics of it, like maybe the bookkeeping part, or maybe the marketing part, or whatever. But you definitely have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, and you don't have to be. You can have this mindset though and still be an employee and do just fine. I mean, it increases your worth in a lot of ways. Not all employers recognize that, but that's true. That's how it is. Okay, well, that's amazing. Cancer, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you very much, and I love you, and I'll see you next time.